Like I said, Zamula and Brink get their qualifying offers. That was to be expected. Mason Millman and Will Zmolek.
Who's a guy. That's a guy.
Who's been around.
Definitely real.
Yeah. Not
definitely know
QO'd. The headline, however, Carter Hart does not receive his qualifying offer. There was no extra consideration given to the teams with players involved in the Hockey Canada investigation. It was just like they're everybody else. QO them or don't.
Yeah.
And the Flyers, as well as the other teams involved, said, yeah, we're good on that. Carter Hart is a free agent. I realize this is side topic on this.
Mm-hmm.
That 2016 draft now is a fucking disaster. Like,
sure
that's the reason they are where they are.
Yeah.
The 2016 draft is a fucking disaster.
You end up with 3 second-round picks. None of them amount to anything. You completely blow your first-round pick. Yeah, it's
like that's why Ron Hextall ain't here.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's no way to know that this thing happened, 2 years after they drafted him.
From a talent standpoint, the Carter Hart pick was good.
Yeah. Oh,
he's a starting caliber NHL goalie.
We celebrated the pick for years.
The result is
but the result now is just like a completely lost draft.
Yeah, true.
And granted, again, this isn't like Pascal LaBerge concussions. What can you do?
Yeah.
This is a totally different conversation, but this is just, man, what a wild ride the Carter Hart experience has been. And again, like as Flyers fans, we are not the victims here. No. There's a lot more going on in this situation than, oh man, we don't have the goalie we liked.
But we do a Flyers
But this is a Flyers show. This is crazy.
I give the Flyers credit
absolutely
for cutting ties.
Yes, it would have been very easy for them to talk themselves into.
Oh, well, we can't lose his rights for nothing.
We can't lose his rights for nothing.
What if he's completely absolved?
Exactly, right.
What if the evidence, there's a video of him somewhere else? Like they didn't galaxy brain themselves into going, yeah, let's give him $6 million.
Because he's so good.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people in our Discord that were very worried about them qualifying Carter Hart. And I wasn't.
Well, that's good.
Because the way that Briere and Jones have been speaking about this since January in terms of their future plans, like they weren't even paying lip service to the idea that Carter Hart was involved.
Yeah.
It was Sam Ersson, Ivan Fedotov, Alexei Kolosov, maybe down the road, Carson Bjarnason, and Egor Zabragin. It was never, well, we'll wait and see what happens with Carter. It was, we're moving on. I got the sense they were done. Then you add in the fact that the Flyers are crammed up against the cap. They've been talking about this for the past month. And if you would have issued a qualifying offer to Carter Hart,
that's it.
That would have been about a $4.5 million cap hit for a guy who probably isn't even going to be allowed to play at all this year. Suddenly, a bad cap situation becomes an even worse cap situation. So purely, even setting aside the fact that I think they pretty much made the decision that we're done with this guy, from a cap standpoint, I don't think it made any sense. I also think that, number one, I just don't think they want to be involved. This is very much like, this is an awful situation.
Yeah.
We don't want our name on this anymore. Look, if it turns out in a year and a half, 2 years, that Carter Hart is found not guilty, and not only that, like there is serious evidence that shows that Hart actually did 0 things wrong, he wasn't really in the room, anything like that, I guess they could theoretically then reopen the conversation with Carter Hart's agent and see if maybe there's a possibility of him coming back. But their view of the situation right now is he's been charged with something awful. And also, I don't know if Carter Hart was as forthcoming about his potential involvement in the situation
I'm sure he wasn't.
with the Flyers as he could have been. Because at the start of all this, I very much got the sense that the Flyers were not worried. And my guess is it was because probably Carter Hart told the people up the top that, don't worry about it, I wasn't there. And then over time, it maybe became, well, I was there, but I didn't do anything. And then over time, it maybe became, well, I'm not going to tell you anything at all now.
Right.
So when a player isn't forthcoming with you about something, you are probably less likely to trust them about anything.
Yes.
Which made it extremely even more likely that given the opportunity, they were going to be like, now we're done with this guy.
It's a choice that I'm very glad that they made because it allows me. Yeah, it allows me to, not have a bad feeling about this organization.
Like, and even if they decided to do whatever to retain his rights, if there had been some sort of special list again, like there was for the
I would have been fine with that as long as it was an NHL-driven thing where they all got thrown on this list, and the NHL basically told the teams, kick the can down the road.
Just as someone who has to do this shit, I don't want to talk about this.
No,
this
me
isn't
neither.
fun. Like I got into this to like yell about stupid shit like Garnett Hathaway, and eventually, hopefully, one day celebrate something.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of fun.
Yes.
It's fucking horrible. So I'm glad that the Flyers made the decision that we can all kind of be like, let's see how it plays out.
Yeah.
It's no longer
good riddance.
I hate to say like it's no longer our problem, as if it was ever like our problem, but you know what I mean.
We know.
I think people understand what I'm getting at here.
It's now like as someone who reports on and covers the Flyers, it will be nice not to feel like I have to write an article every time there's a new update on the Carter Hart trial.
Yes. No. That's you didn't get this to be like, you're not a court stenographer. Yeah. I don't think that was your goal when you got into.
It's just an awful situation all around.
Sucks,
and while the Flyers will never have fully washed their hands of the situation, because obviously Carter Hart is still a part of their history. They drafted him. He was their starting goalie for multiple years. They now no longer have to really pay close attention.
It's no longer something that they have to account for.
Right.
We all silly like the mayor.